This is the ZimaBoard 2. Basically an Intel N150 mini PC, just minier. It's able to drive 2 SATA drives, so you can use it as a NAS or home server. Let's find out how well this works after the intro. IceWhale Tech was nice enough to send me the ZimaBoard 2 and the full kit around it for the sake of this review. No money was exchanged, but I do get to keep the unit. All opinions are my own though, and they didn't get a chance to see this video before you did. In the accessories box, we'll find a fan for the unit, a SATA Y cable to connect 2 drives to the board, a power supply with different connectors depending on the country you're in. The power supply is rated for 19 volt and 60 watts. 2 screwdrivers, different sizes without any markings, so a small and slightly bigger one. Next we'll get the box with the ZimaBoard 2 itself. It comes with a cool headband. Some paperwork, including a love letter from the founder of IceWhale. And here's the board. Not sure which side we should consider front or back, but here on this side we'll find a mini DisplayPort port, 2 10GB USB-A ports, 2 2.5GB network ports, and the power input. At the other side we find 2 SATA ports and a power output for your drives. At the side we'll find an open back PCI Express 3.0x4 slot, although they don't really tell us if it's truly by 4, so I guess we're gonna have to find out about that. If you don't order the full kit, you still get a drive rack. Just cut this part of the box and slide the ZimaBoard 2 in here, along with some drives. It's a little more DIY and only supports 2.5-inch drives, but I think it's pretty cool. This old 2.5-inch hard drive doesn't fit though. They also sent me this white box, containing some more goodies. There's a PCI Express support bracket, another unmarked screwdriver, a bunch of screws, a PCI Express x4 riser cable, a mini DisplayPort to HDMI adapter cable, and the drive rack for 2 3.5-inch drives. Let's connect it, see what happens. Ah, there's the power LED. There's no power button, just turns on as soon as you power it. ZimaOS. Let's reboot and check the BIOS. It looks like we're getting full control over the unit. Nice! Let's boot it again and see what it does in the browser. Welcome! It does have multiple languages, including Dutch. Nice! I'm keeping it on English though. Let's go to the dashboard first. We seem to have a 48GB internal drive. We can change the web UI port, but that doesn't seem to be HTTPS. Why not? I later found out that it's hidden under developer mode. Not sure why, but we'll get HTTPS this time. Files gives us a pop-up about the Zima client. Well, at least it seems to shut up about it after the first time. There is even a virtual machine tool pre-installed. Can we install Windows 11 using this? Yeah, but the internal drive doesn't have enough space for it. Let's add some stuff to the ZimaBoard 2. First I figured adding the fan would be a good idea. You cannot just plug it in, because the hole for it isn't big enough to fit a connector through. I took the screws from the sides out, only to find out that's not how you open it. Get the 4 bottom screws out and it comes apart nicely. Let's take this one out as well. Even though all screws are out, I couldn't get the board out, so we can only see the bottom side of the board. Alright, get the fan connector in and close it up again. One of the side screws is used to keep the fan bracket in place. I don't hear the fan at all, so I guess it's a good idea to just add it. Not sure why they made it so that you'd have to open it up just to connect the fan, but I guess it's a one-time job. Let's have a look at the extra stuff we've got. Here's the drive rack. You can just put the ZimaBoard 2 on top of it, but as you can see, it has some screw holes at the top that perfectly align with the ones at the bottom of the board. So let's take those 4 screws back out. The rack comes with replacement screws that are slightly taller. So I'll put those through the drive rack and into the ZimaBoard. The screws on this side are directly under the stand, which makes them a bit hard to screw in. Feels like a little oversight from the guys at IceWhale. It's doable though, and now the unit is nicely attached to the drive rack. I'm gonna add the PCIe support bracket as well, but we need to add drives first because it uses the same screws. Here are the 2 SSDs that Gerard from GForce1 IT had left in the PC of the previous video. Thanks mate! The brackets I used to be able to place them in a 3.5-inch bay use the smaller thread size usually found in 2.5-inch drives only. This makes it impossible to use the nice thumb screws that were included with the drive rack. But since I also want to mount the PCIe bracket, I do need a few taller than usual screws. Right, found a few. I can't really blame IceWhale for not including 2.5-inch drive screws. The cheap AliExpress brackets are to blame here, I'd say. Alright, let's secure the PCIe riser cable to the bracket and add the taller screws in the bracket and the drives. There's that. Turn it around and plug the other end into the ZimaBoard's PCI Express slot. That's a bit of a tight fit. I guess it might have been better to plug it in before fastening the bracket, but it's doable. So now we could use the bracket to add a card, like this old graphics card. It only takes low profile cards though. A full-size card like this one, not a great idea. It's a bummer that the bracket's feet don't reach as low as the rest of the cage, so they don't really do anything. Apart from that, it's a pretty elegant solution, I'd say. I'll plug in the SATA Y cable, but won't connect them to the drives yet. I want to see if it will do hot plugging. For those who have no idea what that is, it simply means that you will be able to connect or disconnect the drive while the machine is still running. Alright, all booted up, let's connect the drives. Nothing. On the console you can press Alt F2 and log in as root without a password. Very enterprisey. LSBLK does not show the drive, so I guess hot plugging is not working. Let's check in the system's BIOS. Right, hot plugging is disabled. Let's just enable that on all ports. I unplugged the drives and booted the ZimaBoard 2 again. Plug them back in while running and there's our drives. So both the unit and the OS can deal with it just fine. Not sure why they would disable such a feature. If I choose to combine the drives, I get the RAID 1 option only and RAID 0 after clicking the arrow thingy here. I guess we'll do RAID 1 this time. This will create equal copies of all data on both drives, so if one fails, all of your data will still be intact. That's a stupid storage name. Let's fix that. Oof! I did not speed this up. Still synchronizing, but we can start using it if we want. I moved over to my Linux PC, which has a 5 gigabit Ethernet card that I bought for the previous Nest test. I made a shared folder for my test. There we go. It's about saturating the 2.5 gig link on the ZimaBoard 2. Perfectly fine for 4K and even a little bit of 8K video editing. I don't have switches that can help me aggregate both 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports together, so I won't be able to test it at 5 gigabit, but given the current state of the system, I'd say it should be perfectly capable of saturating that as well. ZimaOS seems like a nice little upgrade from the Casa OS that was on the ZimaBlade that I reviewed back in September 25. This feels more finished, better control from the web UI. The UI itself looks exactly the same, as does the App Store. Let's install Handbrake and test some video transcoding. They didn't link dev GRI to the container yet. Let's do that so we can make use of hardware encoding. Alright, let's transcode the 4K 60fps version of Big Buck Bunny. It doesn't quite reach 60 fps. How about H.264? Not much better, to be honest. Handbrake doesn't show an Intel QuickSync variant of AV1? Yeah, that's running on the CPU. How about this very old movie, The Scarlet Pimpernel? 200 FPS, let's go! Alright, it wasn't upscaling. Now it does, and yeah, about the same result as before. It's still fine for 4K 25 or 30 FPS, but don't expect real-time 4K 60 FPS encoding. Now that we've got a bit of data on the drives, how does it handle a failure? No indication of failure at all. You'd have to open the storage configuration to see that anything is wrong. That's pretty bad. Let's add a different SSD to fix the pool. It does notice the drive. Start recovery. This one indeed. Next, dev SDA exists? No shit. Maybe it doesn't like the fact that there's already something on here? Let's clear it out with BLK discard. And try again. Damn. A reboot maybe? Recovering successful. Oof. Let's try that again with the other drive. It does tell me my data disk is damaged this time. I'd love to see a more visibly alarming message, but at least it works this time. Again, we'll add another SSD. Let's clear that one out before doing anything else. It already gives me more options than before. And recovery works like a charm. So I guess hot plugging still works fine, but the interface doesn't like non-empty drives. It didn't grow the storage pool with the extra 8 GB these drives have. That's a bummer. I guess there's no easy way of upgrading your storage on ZimaOS. My data is still there though, so that's something. Let's build a Windows VM, see if we can get PCI Express passthrough with that. This card doesn't fit the bracket, but yeah, this is fine. I love how easy they made this. There don't seem to be any options to enable device pass-through though. That's a bummer. You know what? Let's see if we can install Proxmox, so we can try it on that. Unable to get device for partition 1. After trying a few times, I found that the Proxmox installer simply is hard-coded to use specific kinds of drives. And an eMMC is not one of them. Apparently, they fear breaking your eMMC drive because Proxmox will write a lot of logs, something like that. This page tells us how to fix that though. Let's try. Boom! It works! Alright, so I installed Windows again. Windows shows the 1050 Ti. Firmark. Oh. I tried again and... oops. It jumps just over 80 watts and then hangs. I guess this is the 60 watt power supply saying, nah. Let's try this GTX 745 instead. This low profile thing even fits the bracket. Woohoo! Remove the old pass-through device. Add the GTX 745. All functions, PCI Express, and let's take primary GPU as well. There we are again. That seems to work well. Let's change the resolution to 1080p. There we go! Power draw mostly stays under 60 watts. I guess this is a decent result for a GTX 745. The fact that it's limited to just 4 lanes doesn't seem to affect it much, if at all. So if you'd like to do this, I guess it's better to use a GPU that needs external power, so you can use a dedicated power supply for it. This still comes awfully close to the maximum the ZimaBoard's power supply is rated for. But if you'd like to use something that uses less power, like an NVMe adapter or a network card, this will do just fine. By the way, without a GPU but with the 2 SSDs connected, this little machine idles around 6 watts. Awesome! Running a speed test on those drives pushes it to some 14-15 watts with peaks as high as almost 22 watts. Still pretty decent numbers, I'd say, so more than enough headroom for the 60 watt power supply to power a PCI Express card. Just maybe not a graphics card if you're not using an external power supply. That's about it for today. I very much like this device. The build quality is great, the optional fan is super silent, and it's quite capable overall. There really is not a lot to complain about. I guess an M.2 slot would be nice. Maybe an optional power supply that can handle bigger GPUs for those who want it. Oh, and support for full-size PCIe cards, maybe? Thank you very much for watching. Until next time!